And this is the Fury Warrior and Arms Warrior Tell Me When profile for patch 7.0. It does cover both specs, and we're going to start off with Fury here. And as you can see, it's a pretty simple setup. All that you see in the center, Fury has a pretty small rotation, honestly. It's about 5 buttons, and depending on what talents you've taken, it either gets longer or gets shorter. Fury is all about rage management as well as keeping the enrage buff up as much as possible so you get that damage boost. Now, the way that the spec currently works is that every time you miss a crit, it gives you a chance to get it increases your crit chance with Bloodthirst so that you get that enrage buff. So it does have a little bit of ease of access for people who don't have much gear. The damage is pretty good, and everything else is working pretty well. And it's just basically get to max rage, use Rampage, do a ton of damage, and then go at it again. Not a whole lot going on, honestly, for Fury. Fury's pretty straightforward. Arms is where things change quite a bit. There's a lot of different abilities and talents you can take in Arms that change the rotation by swapping priorities of spells, adding in new spells, and everything in between. You'll see a lot of that when you play the spec, that you can increase the rotation by like 5 buttons, depending on how you actually play it. So the spec we're currently using only has 3 buttons. It's just Mortal Strike, Colossal Smash on cooldown, and Slam is filler. Now, if you took a different talent, Slam would be dropped, and it would be in favor of Whirlwind. But yeah, it's all in there, and it's all designed to get so that you always maintain a certain level of rage. You shouldn't ever really drop below 20 rage. That way you always have enough to get a Mortal Strike off on cooldown, and you'll see that a lot in here. And yeah, like Arms itself is not an overly complex spec. It's meant to just be high damage with the abilities it has. Now, like all the other Tell Me When profiles, depending on what talents you've taken, the rotation will change. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And when we change our talents, like I'll show you here, we take Overpower, take Storm Bolts, and we take Focused Rage. Focused Rage is probably the only thing that changes the priority in the spells, in that you want to build up 3 stacks of Focused Rage so you can get that extra damage on your Mortal Strike, and by doing so, you'll see a huge buff. Bam. But yeah, that's this whole cooldown, or sorry, that's this whole profile. I hope you guys like it, and I will catch you guys later.